Hey guys, Dell here from Dell's Rigging and Crane Tips. 2022. Oh yeah. Shout out to all the bruvs of the hook. Shout out to all my fans. Shout out to all these people messaging me. I read your messages. I read your comments. It's all positive vibes. It's all good. So, yeah, really appreciate my followers here, man. Thanks for all your positive vibes. On today's episode, which is sponsored by Cranebox, man. It's only box you'll need for a crane operator, rigger, field worker. It's a cooler bag, so you can put your lunch in it. It's got an iPad, docket book holder at the back, big huge pockets. It's the only bag you'll ever need. 20% off at the moment. Cranebox.com.au. Get you one of those. If you can't afford that, let me know, man. Maybe I could sweeten up the deal a bit. So it's all good. Cranebox lives on. I want every single operator to have one. That's the goal, bro. You got to have goals, brother. Anyway, so on today's episode, had a really good question. So really good question from this guy, Nick. I might have said that wrong, just so privacy issues, but it's all good. But the question is an awesome question. So I thought we'd go over the question. I'll say my take on it, and then anyone else who's got knowledge on it, man, just hit up in the comments. You might think I'm wrong. So bit of a discussion here. So all the gurus, get your pads out. But great question. So I'll make myself smaller because get me out of the way so you can read along, but I'll read it out to you anyway. So I have a question about setting up specifically a Grove RT530E. Boss wanted me to go on 50% outriggers and operate a 50% chart in an alleyway. I set the outrigger beams out as far as I could, which I had them about 80% on the side I was lifting over and 70% on the opposite side. I still set the computer to 50% outrigger beam chart. Boss came over and said I need to suck the beams in to exactly 50%. I tried to tell him that it would be fine as I'm still on 50% chart and I won't overload the crane. Long story short is he made me suck them back in to exactly 50% beams before I did the lift. Now my question is why wouldn't he let me operate with the beams out at about 70 and 80% over where I'm lifting when I still have the computer set to 50% chart? Was he correct to have me suck them back into 50%? That's an awesome question. That's a really good question. So I'll make myself bigger. Hey guys again. Yeah, so he was correct. I think in two ways. So one way is like, this sucks, but if a boss sort of like tells you he wants stuff in a particular way, even if like it doesn't make sense to you, he's entitled to do that. Like, it's his equipment. He paid thousands of dollars for it. But that's not the reason. That's not the reason at all. The reason, in my experience, is that you can't have it seems like logical, like to anyone, to have the beams out as far as you can. Like, that seems logical, right? Like the beam, like if the beams are out further, the better, right? For balance and for stability and everything like that. That would be better, right? But engineering wise, it's not, because some outriggers aren't ribbed and capable for weight all the way across the outrigger. So some outriggers, you can only have them at sucked all the way in, halfway, or all the way out. And anything in between is not good for weight. As soon as you put weight on that outrigger snaps. So my first boss, they had a 100-ton P&H Alpha, and they sought the same thing. So they stuck their outrigger out. They're doing this transformer, stuck it out to like 90%, as far as they could, because, the same reasoning, like, it's better to have it more outright. And they went over that outrigger, and the outrigger snapped through. Lost the load, almost went bankrupt. And then the other example I've got is I used to operate a 250 Liber, and it was not until I had a flat tire, I poked out the outrigger a bit, probably about quarter of the way, pushed down on the outrigger, and then all the pins on the top of the outrigger and stuff pushed up out of the outrigger and bent all the mechanisms inside. And I was just like, I was just pushing down the outrigger. And so it's very important. It's very important that the crane's outriggers are in selected sections where they can have weight bearing on them, and they're ribbed for that occasion. And so your boss was right. Now I don't know about that crane, because here's the devil's advocate. There is a lot of cranes out there which can go from 0 to 100%, and they're good for weight all the way across. A lot of those city cranes now, all of them are like that. You can have them at any position. But you've got to know, man. So you've got to read the operator's manual on that crane. My default mode is, this is what I do with all cranes. If I'm stuck in an alleyway, or if I'm doing anything short or thing riggers, I just keep them on where I can pin them. So if you can pin them at halfway, pin them all the way in. If you can pin them all the way out, I know there's a few cranes out there, a few roughies out there where you can pin them at like 90%. Anywhere you can pin them is obviously good. It's obvious because there's a pin there. Anything in between, I don't touch. I don't do 70% if there's no pin there. I don't do 25%, just because of those reasons. That outrigger giving way with my old boss, and also me smashing that outrigger in the 250. There's just two lessons learned. It's just like, it's with me all the way in, halfway, all the way out, anywhere that you can pin. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I'll probably do a little research on that Grove and see if it is ribbed all the way, and if you can do that. My guess it's not, and your boss knew that, so that's why he got you to go back to 50%. So I hope that helps, Nick. Yeah, if anyone else has got these technical questions, if anyone else has got some knowledge on the subject, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know. It's all gravy. Anyway, guys, like these videos, subscribe here. Dale's Rigging Crane Tips 2022. Yeah.